Welcome to Gotta. This is Will Sanchez. My special guest today is Chua. She runs for the Queens Distance Runners. I first heard about Catherine through the captain of the Queens Distance Runners when he was here at a Gotta Run TV show.
She's been doing a great job. She, you wouldn't think that she's a mother of three. That's why she's bionic. She does all these miles, and she just does it without a problem.
I'm thrilled to welcome Catherine, also known as the Bionic Woman, to the show.
Thank you.
Great. Catherine, let's get started by introducing yourself to our audience. For example, tell us where you were born, a little bit about your childhood. I
was born in Brooklyn, but my family and we moved to West Virginia when I was 6 months old, so I basically grew up in West Virginia. I went to high school there, graduated.
Great. As a child in West Virginia, were you very active, athletically speaking?
No, not really. I was really not coordinated. I fell off my bike often. But going to a small Catholic school, I was able to play was able to play the sports that I wanted to play. So I guess in elementary school, I played a little basketball. I was very bad at it. I played volleyball for most of junior and senior years, but I was basically sat the bench or played JV. And 1 year I played tennis. Okay. So
a typical kind of stuff, but nothing spectacular.
Funny enough, like 7th grade, I think I tried to do track, but I think I lasted 1 week.
What happened?
It was just we tried to run and I got tired and just, I don't know, I wasn't very into it then, running.
Okay, but that was one of your early memories as you didn't like track.
Yes.
Which is quite different than today.
Yeah.
Okay, but we'll get there. Okay. Obviously you went on to college.
I went to college in New Jersey, Drew University.
Which one?
Drew University.
Okay.
It's in Madison,
yes. What did you study there?
I majored in anthropology and religion, and I minored in Russian language. And
great. Were you athletically involved in college?
Actually, I was. I played in a club team. It was Ultimate Frisbee for 4 years.
Really? Yeah. Ultimate Frisbee?
Yeah, Ultimate Frisbee.
Is that an Olympic sport, perchance?
I don't know.
I think they want to make it an Olympic sport. What makes it ultimate?
It's a combination of rules. So they incorporate rules of basketball, like you guard like basketball, defense, and soccer, you have end zones, and also in the basketball, it's like you pivot. So once you catch the disc, you can't move. It's an actual sport, yeah.
Ultimate is played with 7 players per team on the field. It's a combination of football, soccer, basketball. You score like in football in an end zone. You make passes like in soccer. Spirit of the Game is a code of ethics for the game of Ultimate. We don't have any referees in the game, and so people have to make calls against each other, and they have to be respectful. You need cleats, and you need a frisbee. You gotta be able to run hard, helps to be able to jump high, and you gotta be able to throw it far. I think that Ultimate will become an Olympic sport, and the level of talent just is continuing to get younger.
The fun thing about Ultimate Frisbee is you sing to each other at the end. Like each team makes up a song and sings to each other. Yeah.
Oh, so if you won, you say we're the champions, or
regardless of if you win or not, it's that much team spirit kind of game.
You sang for the other team.
Yeah. So each team, we'd like at the end of each game, you sing a song for each.
That's great. Yeah. That is great sportsmanship. Yeah. So besides shaking hands, you know, and you sang to each other.
Yeah.
You had an interesting major, you know. How do you decide on what work to do? Because, you know, is there a call for anthropologists?
After graduating, I joined the Peace Corps, so I taught English. So it kind of helped for the cultural anthropology part, because I always had loved to travel from high school to undergrad.
Okay.
So, I mean, I incorporated that a lot into my work.
Really?
But,
that's great. At Peace Corps, did they send you any place special?
I went to Kyrgyzstan.
Oh, where? Part of Russia,
yeah, it's a former Soviet Republic, Kyrgyzstan. It's below Kazakhstan, next to China.
Oh my goodness, were your parents nervous that you were going that far away? Or your family?
Yeah, they were very nervous, but I'm kind of strong-willed kind of person, so
Okay.
they supported me.
Okay, you're strong-willed.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure that led you to good stead down the road.
Yeah.
Okay, and how long were you doing this for?
About 2 years, a year and a half I actually was
That's
there.
great
yeah.
commitment
Yeah.
of the Peace Corps.
Yeah.
And then you came back and,
I moved to New York, because where do you go after West Virginia and Central Asia?
okay.
So I lived in New York. I moved here since 2000. And initially I was in publishing, very briefly, and then I went to nursing school.
Oh, so you went back to school?
Yes, so I
Which
actually
school
have
was
the two. NYU,
Oh, NYU.
School of Nursing,
School of
yes.
Choice
Yeah.
seems for the Queen's Distance Runners.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you specialize in any particular kind of nursing?
Usually you just graduate with your nursing degree and then you kind of find your field that you want to go into. So I've been in endoscopy now for quite a while, for 8 years.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you help prep the patient?
Yes,
or-
I help prep. I'm in the room, and I recover patients as well.
Oh,
but-
cool. I mean, that procedure was in the news recently because of Joan Rivers.
Oh yes, we
whole-
get that.
So you get patients nervous when
Very
they,
nervous.
and you help calm them down?
Yeah, we do.
And so
We
what do
try
you
to
tell them?
explain. Well, I have to be loyal to NYU, so that we are in a hospital facility, that we are very skilled at our the procedures, and it's very. I mean, it's in a hospital setting, so as
because-
opposed to these outpatient
Oh, okay.
settings. it's
And I-
we follow standards.
As it turns out, I recently had an examination like that,
okay.
and I remember they had soft music in the background.
Oh yeah, we have music.
And I went to New York Presbyterian.
Okay.
I was very surprised. It was like very comfortable, and then I woke up and they had the slightest of sore throats.
Oh yeah. And you had a follow-up call from a nurse and everything about.
I can't remember, but
Oh, okay.
but I remember in the past that I had follow-up calls when I had more elaborate procedures.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So you do that too? You make the follow-up calls?
Yeah, we do everything on our endoscopy unit. It's
Okay, well,
very,
sounds like you really enjoy that.
Yeah, it's just I've done it so long. I'm very used to it, and we have very good doctors too.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
sounds like you made a good
Yeah.
choice there. Oh, excellent. And during this time as a nurse, did you rediscover running, or how did you discover, because you said you didn't like the first experience?
Well, actually, I mean, I ran always like just for exercise. I've always wanted to be an active sort of person. So I've done exercise in addition to the sports that I played, like I did kickboxing, and running is always the fundamental part of any sport, I feel. But I just never timed myself. I didn't know my pace. And then about 2 years ago, I noticed all these posts on Facebook about, it seemed like running has hit a boom the past couple of years, because seriously, everyone there was saying, I did a race, I did this race. I'm like, how have I not done a race? So then my coworker, my friend Hua Jin Lee, I have to say her name, I said, let's do a race, because I want to do this race. And so we picked one 2 years ago. It was in September. It was the New York 10K. They do it on Roosevelt Island. And then I was hooked after that race.
Well, how well did you do?
I think, what did I do? 51, 50 something?
Oh, that's a pretty
so
good
yeah,
time.
so going out, like we started together and I kind of just took off. There was something in me that just took off. I'm like, and she said to me after the race, I'm like, did you know you could run that fast?
But what happened after that, now that you
So
got
then-
to do a bit of the bug?
Because I was running, I'm like, okay, I want to do a half marathon. So I did the Divas half marathon like 2 weeks later. I'm like, okay, I can do 13 miles.
And where is
after
the
this.
Divas?
It's in Long Island,
Okay.
Eisenhower Park.
Okay.
So then I did that. And that was hard because I don't think I was prepared, honestly. But I still did it in an hour and 48 minutes.
That's
But-
not bad at all.
But after that, it's just like I kept signing up for races. My husband had to get used to it. But
At some point, you intersected with the Queen's Distance
Yeah,
Runners
and-
because you placed for them.
yeah, so it was actually in all this time, so it was October, and then in December, there was this race. I saw like a little post on, on the street, the electrical post. Queen's Distance Runners are having a toy drive, and it was actually around Christmas time, I believe, that week. But it was only 5 minutes away from my house. So I was like, I just told my husband, I'm just going to walk down and do this race. So I went and I did the race, and they talked about Queen's Distance. I'm like, okay, I want to train. I want to do a marathon. So they're called Queen's Distance Runners. Let me find out more about it. And actually, it was Kevin called me, and he seemed so enthusiastic, Kevin Montalvo, and he really wanted me to be a part of the team. So that enthusiasm kind of spurred me to just join Queen's Distance Runners and get involved. That was 2 years ago in December.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
so you were still a newbie because although you run a few races, you never did good training.
No, I
and
didn't.
And now you're going to learn.
Yeah. And I was actually crazy because then I signed up for a marathon that February. Yeah, so in the span of 4 months, I decided to keep going, which I don't think is the best thing to do, but...
Well, you know, there's an organization called Marathon Maniacs that you seem to be a natural for. Where they do multiple events in relatively short time amount of time. At that time, you're getting to know your body. You now were drafted by the Queen's Distance Runners. So what was it like to be part of an organization like the Queen's Distance Runners?
It's a very satisfying experience because I get to pull a lot of the things from when I was younger, being a part of a team.
The ultimate frisbee.
Yeah, ultimate frisbee and volleyball. So that discipline. And just being part of the social network as well of runners. Everyone's so enthusiastic, no matter if you're slower or faster, everyone supports each other. There's definitely in Queen's Distance Runners. And a lot of the support from Kevin and Maria, just in terms of getting better. Like, they'll help everyone get better, no matter what pace they are.
Okay. Yeah. Have you made some pretty good friends there that you run regularly with?
Well, yeah. Recently, even though it's been a short period of time, they do happen to be younger people, but they inspire me to run, you know, just be a part of the team. But one specifically, Lori Brown, I've been running a lot with her, and she's amazing because in the span of 1 month, like, I don't know, she already, like, this past race we did on Sunday, the Bronx.
10 mile.
Yeah, she already, like, PR'd for her, what would have been her 10K time, but obviously in the 10 mile. And she placed pretty high. I was, like, pretty impressed because we've only been running together now, like, twice a week for the past month.
Okay.
So,
but I bet if we talk to Lori, she would ascribe some of it to your leadership.
Oh, yeah, I guess, maybe.
Well, you are a nurse, so you know how to put people at comfort, so you have probably a very good bedside manner.
I hope so. I have to ask the patients.
Okay, anybody else besides Lori you want to give a shout out to?
Mariange, Luciano's friend.
She's the boss.
Yeah, she's the boss. She's very supportive. Like, I have a lot of self-doubt still as a runner. That's just me and my personality. And she's always like, you're going to get it. You're going to do this. Even for this race coming up on Sunday, she's like, you're gonna do well. So I like that.
So Marie is the positive enforcer.
Yes.
So she overcomes that negative side of your brain that seems to be overactive.
Yeah, it very is.
You mentioned your husband. So obviously you're married. Do you have children?
Yes, I have 3 children.
Oh my goodness. And this is, you had them before you running started?
Yeah, before into the racing thing.
Okay,
yeah.
all right, cool. I remember reading there's a charity or disease that has affected you. Can you tell us about that?
Well, my daughter, she's 8 years old. Her name's Miria, and she was born with a genetic syndrome called Loeys-Dietz. She takes medication, and she does have a lot of physical limitations. So I think that's the irony of me running, that I do want to be a role model for her, and yet she cannot run. But the organization that I do go to their conferences and we support is loeysdietz.org.
Okay.
And I do want to do a race to support that organization eventually with Queen's Distance Runners. So
that's great. I want to do that. Is this something that you outgrow? Is this a lifetime?
It's a lifetime syndrome.
So Loeys-Dietz syndrome is a disorder of the body's connective tissue, which influences tissues throughout the body. Most important complication of Loeys-Dietz syndrome involves the blood vessels. There is a very high predisposition for the base of the aorta to enlarge, something that we call an aortic root aneurysm. If the aortic root gets very large, it can be at risk to tear or to rupture. That can lead to sudden death in Loeys-Dietz syndrome. I think the right answer is that we don't know the answer, but Loeys-Dietz syndrome is turning out to be much more common than we originally anticipated. I think it's important to recognize that Loeys-Dietz syndrome was only discovered in 2005. So there are many, many physicians who have never heard about Loeys-Dietz syndrome. It's really, really important to get the word out so primary care physicians can recognize the outward features of Loeys-Dietz syndrome, develop an informed index of suspicion and make appropriate referrals. It's very common for people with Loeys-Dietz syndrome to have craniofacial features that include widely spaced eyes, a cleft palate, something called a bifid uvula, which is a split in the structure that hangs down in the back of your throat. Now looking forward, we know that using more aggressive surgical practices has made a difference for people with Loeys-Dietz syndrome. We have good confidence that certain medications are going to make a difference in how fast blood vessel problems progress. I really think that the situation is much, much more optimistic looking forward. I'm truly amazed by mothers of children with Loeys-Dietz syndrome. I mean, fathers are great, don't get me wrong, but there's something about a mother advocating for their child that's just awe-inspiring. It's like a mother bear with her cubs.
She had this when she was born.
She had it when she was born, so the first signs was she was born prematurely, not too prematurely, 35 weeks, but she did stay in the NICU for 2 months.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is very special that you're able to do that. You and your husband can,
Yeah.
and your other 2 children are okay in terms of the disease?
Yeah, they are. It was a spontaneous, one of those things that happened, so that was a lot to deal with at the time, because I was 31.
Well, it sounds like you got a good husband.
Yes, very much.
Oh, it sounds like he's a great man. In fact, I recall he ran with you recently at the Lori Harris 5K.
Yeah, he loves to do the races. He can't do too many long races because he has soccer injuries from he was younger. So he does do the 5K races. He's very supportive of that.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
And I think I remember you just celebrated 10 years.
Yeah,
of
10
anniversary.
years. Actually, last week we celebrated.
Excellent, excellent.
We went out for seafood.
For seafood?
Last Saturday. Yeah, it was before the race. I questioned whether that was a good idea, but...
Well, how did you, well, you did it well anyway.
Yeah, I did. I did
Seafood,
okay.
well, who knew,
yeah,
well?
seafood.
Well, I guess don't overstuff yourself, with carbs. You got to be sensible.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And in fact, I think we're Facebook friends, and I think I've seen pictures of him. He seems to be a very good cook himself.
Yeah, he cooks for me. He actually does so much for me in terms of supporting my running. He drives me to races. If ever.
Oh my gosh, he's a very special man.
Yes.
Oh, wow. But is there a story how you guys met?
We actually met through mutual friends. We just went out to a place called Beauty Bar, but it was mutual friends. He was actually a volunteer. He's from England, so they have like Peace Corps, it's called VSO. So he had his mutual friends, I had my mutual friends, so we just like, okay, let's meet, like in the bar in Manhattan. So
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great way of doing it.
Yeah.
And those mutual friends, they should
Yeah.
they send them a thank you card every year.
Yeah, but it was basically, I'd like to say it's like love at first sight, because we met and we kind of connected, and it's really cheesy, but it's the truth.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. And this is before running or whatever,
Yeah,
but were you a
before-
nurse at that time?
I was actually graduating, so yeah, I think I had just graduated and started my first job in nursing, which is at New York Presbyterian.
Okay.
But
Now, Kevin, as you know, calls you the bionic woman. I was asking Kevin, well, how does she feel being called that? I know everybody gets a nickname, whether they like it or not, I guess. How do you like yours?
I'm okay with it. I see where it comes from. I think because I just do so many races and I happen to be on the older side of the team. So I think at first they thought that was kind of interesting that I did so many races and didn't get any major injuries. So I think that's how I got it, technically.
Well,
Because I don't stretch. I should stretch and I should foam roll. And Maria, Maria,
yeah.
she's always They're always talking about foam rolling.
But you haven't done that?
I don't really foam roll.
Okay.
And I don't
Well,
really stretch.
Everybody is different. Yeah.
Okay.
Foam rolling is considered universally by almost everybody as something to do. Stretching is debatable.
Okay. I've been admonished by many people like, you don't foam roll? So yes, I do. I know I need to foam roll.
Okay, well, maybe that could be a future goal.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned you did New York, and I think you said you did a good time, right?
Yeah, it was 3:05. I forget the seconds. 3:05
okay.
something.
It's a good time. And
yes.
then you did Boston right after that.
And I did Boston, which I was surprised that I did better in. So it was 3:03. That's 3:03:26, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, and that's your PR?
That's my PR for a marathon.
I have a feeling that one of your future goals is to break the 3.
Yeah, that's my goal. It was my goal for Boston too, so I'm really hoping that I will do that for this upcoming New York Marathon.
Okay, what are you doing? Anything special? You know, what is your thinking or your coach's thinking to get to that sub 3?
Well, I'm doing a lot more mileage, and I just feel stronger in terms of, because basically going from Boston to New York, I've been consistently running, so I actually feel stronger as a runner, and just doing more speed work and mileage.
Okay, so just kick up the mileage.
Yeah.
So
and
what's your typical mileage like in a week?
the week before I actually hit 70, which was like a major thing for me. I don't think I've ever hit 70. So
70.
right now, a little bit over 60.
Then you're going to have to taper.
Yeah, I still have to do that, yeah.
So you're working with Kevin?
Yes, I work with Kevin.
He's, I think he's one of his, you're one of his pride students because he mentioned that in his interview.
Yeah, I watched
that. He wants you to get to that sub 3 that you want.
I think because it's been my goal for now. Well, actually, goal since Boston.
Boston.
Yeah.
Have you done any predictor races for that? You know, sometimes people do, I'm going to do this 18-miler or 10-miler and see, because they have formulas. If you plug it in, they'll tell you, based on your 10-miler, what's your marathon likelihood? I don't know.
I just don't really trust that because I think we did that for the New York Marathon last year, and it was, I think I went in, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do 3:10. So I did 5 minutes faster. I never know what I'm going to do until I do it.
But that's better than the predictor. Okay. Well, they also, some groups do the magic mile, where you do a mile, run a mile, obviously. There's a track in Central Park. I think it's 5 loops in the northern part of Central Park. You run it's a cinder block. It's a beautiful track. And do that 5 times paces, you know, as hard as you can without puking.
Okay.
And then there's a table. Based on that, it can predict, and it's pretty accurate, actually.
Really? Oh.
It was invented by Jeff Galloway.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
I gotta look that up.
Okay.
Okay. That disease that you mentioned, does it have a spokesperson?
There was a basketball player, but a lot of, because it's a connective tissue syndrome similar to Marfan, some of it goes under also Marfan, the Marfan Foundation. And the Marfan Foundation is actually the organization I did run last year, the marathon with. So I did raise a lot of money for that organization as well. So there are multiple organizations.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. When you raise the funds, this is through a charity, or do you have your own personal fundraiser? Or does it crowd raise?
Through Crowd Rise. Yeah, it was one of those. But
sometimes the New York City Marathon has many charity partners.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a charity partner, but not one of the major ones.
Okay, but one that was associated with the marathon.
Yeah, so you have to raise $2,800, I believe, for the marathon. And I raised $6,000.
Okay. Well, sometimes when you do that, they'll either offer training or sometimes they have openings in the marathon. But I guess you already qualified.
Yeah, I already.
So you just did it for the for the fundraising part.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wanted to do something for my daughter because I really ran that race for her. So that was very
cool.
in honor of her.
All right. Now, in closing, what are some of your future challenges? First, athletically speaking, I guess it's to break the 3. Is there any other goals you have?
Well, I kind of just want to break all of the distances. I actually managed to, because Kevin asked me last week, he's like, so have you PR'd? And we listed all the distances, and I've PR'd all those this year.
Okay.
So still want to keep going and seeing.
So you want to keep going? Well, I think I read you could join the Masters group next year.
Yeah, well, I turned 40 in January.
So a whole exciting new group?
Yes. Yeah, I'm kind of scared, but there are some fast.
Masters?
Yes.
Well, some runners don't peak until they get to their Masters, and all of a sudden they, I don't know, you know Kevin Shelton Smith, he gotten faster after 40.
Oh.
So it is quite possible.
I hope to be one of those people.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're in good hands. And then, professionally speaking, you're a nurse.
Yes.
And nurses, you know, they're so important. They're really the angels in the room. You know, what do you see for yourself in that profession?
I think eventually, like technically I am in a graduate program. It's just kind of hard to find time to do it with my 3 children. But eventually I do want to go get a degree in education, nursing education, which you can use that degree to educate patients or to educate future nurses. I think that's something I can incorporate with my past experience of being a teacher in Peace Corps as well.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
It's interesting how everything sort of intertwines. The teaching, the ultimate frisbee, and now you're a great runner, loved by your teammates at the Queen's Distance Runners. You're a mentor to some of the younger people. You're joining the Masters, and soon, and hopefully in the near future, you'll be a teacher of future nurses.
Yeah.
It's a great future.
Yeah.
And we wish you all the best to your youngsters, and hopefully they'll grow, you know, as healthy as they can be. And a shout out to your husband.
Oh yeah.
He's
Tim Healing.
terrific.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
Tim Healing.
What a great name,
Yeah, I
Healing.
didn't technically change my name because I didn't want to be known as Nurse Healing. That's my joke, but it's a lot of pressure to be Nurse Healing. But
That's true.
Yeah.
Nurse Chua is good.
yeah, Chua.
Well, listen, thank you for coming in.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.